conclusive statement, sir.
It's not an issue.
But we have to change the subject. But on the front page of the Chronicle, you said we will bring back Alawa. And there's a quote from the vice presidential candidate of the MPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who was meeting students of colleges of education and nursing training institutions. And there's a quote here. I just have to read this for you. I cannot understand the management style of the NDC that students at the colleges of education and nurses allowances were not removed at the time the nation had not found oil. And I cannot also understand why, at the time Ghana had discovered oil and more money is derived from oil find, allowances of students at the colleges of education and nursing training colleges have been removed. It does not make sense. Well, he was speaking in the Volta region, though, and he says if they are elected into office, they will restore the allowances to the various students in those colleges. It's not up for discussion, though, but this is up for discussion. And the head of the history department of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Kwame Osei-Kwarteng, has asked President John Mahama to immediately cancel diplomatic relations with South Africa and also expel the Rainbow Nations High Commissioner to Ghana back to her country. Was speaking Monday on Adom FM Current Affairs program, Benny Issues, and he said if he were the president, that's the advice he would take. This follows also concerns and criticisms by the MPP's General Secretary, Kwabena Japong, that government and the way it was dealing with the whole report about the xenophobic attacks on Ghanaian nationals and nationals of other African countries was not in the right direction. Why did you take such a stance as a party in itself? And do you think what Professor Kwarteng says is in order? Not very diplomatic, in my judgment.
What I would say is that it's a bit early to say that Ghana will have to expel the South African ambassador back to her country. What we need now is diplomatic efforts and diplomatic resolution of the problem. It's quite worrying. It's quite worrying that such things are happening. And what is a bit distasteful is what I heard that one of the people is epileptic and he had it, fell and died. So all these were when we had not had the xenophobic this thing, we didn't experience this thing. That occasion, what occasioned that person to experience what she claims?
Well, she says the gentleman, Emmanuel Kwanko, was an epileptic and seemed to have suffered seizure somewhere on the street and so had concussion, died subsequently.
What type of epilepsy? We have several types. What type?
I just heard it.
And how long has he? Yes, that is what I'm questioning. What she said, not you.
You are surprised.
You see, how long has he been in South Africa?
So your point is what? They're trying to manage information.
And where from the bruises? How did he get the bruises? From where? You see, we should try to find solutions so that we don't worsen the situation. But sometimes they should not play on our intelligence. They should not insult our sensibilities. Then the 4 people who died in the saloon, if it had been one person, and we see that a person was using a generator set, and as a result died out of that, I could have accepted it to some extent. But 4 people, none of them could wake up and realize that we are suffocating. And then white substance coming out of the mouth of all the 4. I think they have to do a better job. 4 people, whether the room became so hot or the carbon dioxide quantity in the room was so mild that they had to suffocate because of lack of oxygen. So none of them, at least under such circumstances, they should be experiencing breathing problems. So all the 4
But to you, it's unbelievable. But those
It's
are the reports
unbelievable.
they're giving us.
Exactly.
But
You
at
see,
the end of the day, what position do you think government needs to take?
The position, you know, the president has spoken as the chair of the ECOWAS. Fine. But Ghana's position must also be made clear. You know, I know the difficult situation.
I hope you're not saying that Ghana's position should be at variance with the ECOWAS position.
I'm not saying, I've not said that. You allow me to develop mine. I know the difficult position the president finds himself as the president of a sovereign state and the chair of a number of sovereign states. So he may take it that once I speak for Ghana and all the community. So I may not necessarily need to say something separately on behalf of Ghana. But I beg to differ. He can perform one function as the chair of the authority of heads of state and government, and also as the head of a sovereign state, Ghana. And then the emphasis on that one will be, he will speak generally like what he's done in the case of ECOWAS, and then zero in or focus on those that have lost their life and the concern of Ghanaian citizens in South Africa. So that, you see, people will know that, yes, with the community he's in charge, he's done his work. As head of the sovereign state, Ghana, he's also done or expressed his concern. True. You know, the General Secretary said something which I heard another person because
of the MPP, you mean?
Yes. But I heard somebody from NDC making some comment that that is not necessary. But because it's not the same platform, I don't want to mention the name. What he said is that...
Your General Secretary, you mean?
No, the response, NDC's members, yes, to the General Secretary, that there's no need to have a desk in South Africa where people, and then telephone numbers in South Africa provided, where relatives can phone in to ask about maybe their people. I don't understand what you're saying. That there's a normal channel, those people can link up with their people. We have a normal situation and a situation which is not normal. If an abnormal circumstance, who will come and ask government, what is happening to my people in South Africa? Because the situation is not normal, that is why you need certain structures to ensure that you take control over whatever is happening. If you have those things there and I cannot reach my people, I can call him. I've listened to people in South Africa who are saying they are not even getting the cooperation of our embassy there. So if they are not getting the cooperation, then I'm not surprised he's saying it's not necessary to have even this desk.
Do you think government finds itself between a rock and a hard place, more like a catch-22 situation?
Government is not in a catch-22 situation. I'm completely shocked at the statement coming from the MPP General Secretary. If there is any political grouping in this country that should make comments about xenophobic behavior, they are the last party to do so. Let me tell you why. 1969, 1970, 71. Aliens Compliance Order.
That's passed.
So we don't have to talk about it. It's passed, so we don't talk about it. It's the same attitude the South Africans are showing now. When you wantonly, discriminatively issue an order driving away foreigners from your country for no other reason by making the simple argument that they are taking jobs from your country people, what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? And that was issued under their watch. Prime Minister K.A. Buzia issued that order.
That's
obnoxious, irresponsible
Mr.
order.
Champo, that's passed.
Listen, it's passed, so what? It is history repeating itself somewhere, doing it in a different way.
But we have to correct
it. Listen, please, give me the chance to talk. Give me the chance to talk. I am emotional about this issue.
Don't be.
Because I lost a lot of good Nigerian friends due to that thing. Lot of good Nigerian friends that I was in school with. I lost them because of that. Their fathers lost their properties here on the flimsy excuse that Nigerians were taking jobs from Ghanaians. Where a Nigerian man who were running these Capre stores would stay 24 hours, open that store. Anytime you needed something, you could go there and buy something. Ghanaians were sleeping. And yet we found it necessary to drive them out, Today, the South Africans are doing the same thing. And instead of you guys being contrite about it, you are issuing such statements saying government is irresponsible. When government has clearly outlined a plan.
What's the plan?
Of course. Listen to the foreign minister speak, that there's an evacuation plan if it has to come to that point. He's talking about steps being taken. African foreign high commissioners are meeting the foreign ministry, getting assurance.
We haven't gotten to that point.
We have gotten to that point.
Where the attacks have spread.
Listen, please, let's be very clear about some of these issues. So far, all those Ghanaians that have died in this thing, according to the High Commission, are only 5. But they are not linked to the xenophobia that is being practiced.
You believe that?
Why wouldn't I believe
Because those
it?
are official reports.
It's not about official reports. It's about what is real. Don't forget, we have a High Commission that has research officers in there. You know the work of research officers? Yes, you don't. So we don't have to be issuing such things to incite Ghanaians to do something towards our the South African High Commission. The statement they issued has the tendency to incite Ghanaians to take reprisal actions here. And that is not what we need at this time. Yeah. We need calm heads to run through it and make sure that these things stop. We don't need the NPP to be issuing such statements. They have a history of sacking people from Ghana. So they shouldn't be talking about these things. You have a history of doing that.
But you're not being fair to the NPP, are you?
I'm not being fair.
Yeah, because you're going to the past and digging on.
Why shouldn't I go to the past?
Let him go there.
Why shouldn't I go to the past?
The last person to say it.
Why shouldn't I go to the past?
Okay.
You do it to others and they are doing it to other people, and then you issue and say government is like a daisy car.
Now you said we need to be diplomatic about it. Do you think that your comments have been diplomatic?
I'm not diplomatic on that particular one because they have led this country on that part before.
Okay, let's conclude on this.
Yeah, you see, I'm surprised.
What do you make of the actions?
I'm surprised Kobe is even saying this. Xenophobia and tribalism have almost the same effect. And Kobe, sitting here, what he said about Shantis.
I didn't say anything about
That's
Shantis.
okay.
That's a lie. That is a lie.
That's okay.
That is a lie. That is a lie.
That's okay.
That is a lie.
We should come and broaden our
That is a lie.
Okay, we're changing the subject. Meanwhile,
you've tried this trick and won't work. It won't work. It will not work. It will not work.
Talking about xenophobia.
Mr. Simmons,
You your comments
it will not
your
work.
father is in Ashanti.
It will not work. That is the more reason why it's a lie.
Mr. Simmons, listen to
me. Mr. Simmons,
what are you saying?
Mr. Simmons, he
should be the last.
Okay, John. I spoke to him.
Now we do understand that the High Commission.
You have said it so many times. It won't take you anywhere.
It will take us somewhere.
Mr. Simmons, listen to me. That's all right.
Now, the whole government sacked Nigeria. The whole government sacked Nigeria.
That's okay.
I didn't insult any Ashanti.
So,
I did not insult any Ashanti.
Mr. Simmons,
I did not insult any Ashanti. Stop lying.
Mr. Simmons,
stop lying. Stop lying.
You have to be bold.
Stop lying.
We have to wrap up. I'm sorry. My guest for the morning have been
Stop lying.
Who is the chief executive of the Youth Employment Agency, as well as Simon Osemensa. And Simon Osemensa is a member of Parliament for Busumchi. And thanks for joining for your talk. We're taking a break or we come back with a lot more for you.
So what?
The father is a statement.